Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome everybody to First and Goal. This week we've got DW, Colt, QP making a return, and Matt fresh off a win against RD. What's going on, guys?
Ooh. What's up, Bomber?
All right.
What's up?
So
what is up, Bomber?
Colt, probably the least tenured member of the First and Goal crew, so we're gonna let you start first. And first topic. So Biz moved Roquan Smith for Marquise Brown. Now he's got Marquise Brown on the trade block. I've heard of people trading like a paper clip for like a candle, and then they just keep going up till they get a car or whatever. Is this kind of the opposite, where he's going to start with Roquan Smith and he's going to end up with somebody really terrible?
I'd say right now it's too soon to tell, just because since we're going on that paperclip to a car thing, he's going to need to make 12, 13, 14 more trades. But as of right now, it's definitely not a good start.
All right, QP, what do you think? As somebody that benefited off that beginning trade.
It definitely will be that the opposite of if he goes from Marquise Brown to a defensive player that's an outside linebacker, middle linebacker that's not Roquan, like an 88, 89 overall. It's going to be hard to find somebody like a Roquan Smith. You're not going to find that most likely. I would hold on to Marquise Brown if I was him. But what I can kind of see him doing is what I just said, is him going to try to find a Roquan Smith replacement now that he sees that Roquan Smith just did a lot of work in this season. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he rides it strong. But yeah, right now it would be looking like the opposite if he does trade him, because it's going to be hard to, replace either of those two values that we're naming right now.
Yep. All right, DW, what do you think? Try to be gentle. Biz is new.
Well, he's definitely downgraded, probably like a thumbtack or something. I mean, a paperclip's a little bit more functional. I didn't like the Roquan Smith trade. His biggest thing he needed this year was defense. He's been bitching about it all year. I don't know why you're putting Marquise Brown up there. He's a pretty, decent player. You've traded a lot for him. It's definitely downgrade from me.
Okay. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, this is an instance of someone not having a plan and executing trades based off of not having a plan and then having buyer's remorse. He traded for Marquise Brown, who gave him 34 receptions, 611 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He could have got that from Darnell Mooney. He probably could have got that from anybody on this show. And then Calvin Ridley, 55 receptions, 1,445 yards. He's probably thinking, geez, I don't need both of them. I sure wish I had a defense, because I'm 29th against the run and 24th in points allowed. So he had no plan. He thought, oh, well, I'm the Bears. It's going to be a long rebuild. Roquan doesn't fit in it. And then just the other day he tweeted, hey, number 9 on the block, we're trying to jumpstart this rebuild faster. So he didn't know what he wanted to do. He made trades. He's got buyer's remorse. If he trades Hollywood Brown, maybe he's hoping he can get more back than he spent for him. I don't think that's going to happen, because even though he's got 97 speed, this isn't the Madden for that. And yeah, he screwed up. I think he's trying to fix it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. He said he didn't want to pay Roquan. You have like $100 million. I think you could afford one of the best middle linebackers in the game. So that'll move us to number 2. We're going to go with UQP. As one of the teams that's still in the postseason, who do you think has the most to either gain or lose this postseason? And you can even talk about teams that have been eliminated.
Yeah, I was going to think about QB stud, especially when Matt dubbed him as the second best player in the SML at the moment. He said he was playing like it. He said he was playing like it, but he didn't say he was. But he did say he was playing like it, and that was just an atrocious showing. I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit with Prime, who's been talking constantly about going 20-0. I'm going to go with a different approach. I'm going to go with Dan Hertzler. Since the Falcons run that, what was that, year 1 of the blip? Was that year 1?
Year 1 post-blip.
Yeah, so since year 1, after that, Faz just really dominated that NFC. Even when Dan got him in the regular season, we always knew Faz was going to prevail in the postseason. and it happened every year. And Dan is in the Big Five, and he doesn't get, slack, but he does get slack in a way that we don't talk about Dan a lot, other than the greatness of Dan. We talk about how good he is, his wise mind, Jesus. My phone's going crazy. Yeah, Dan. I'm gonna go with Dan. I was having a great rant here. Had a really good spiel I was putting together, and I'm gonna stop there. I got Dan.
That's all right. If anybody's good for a rant here, we've got DW. What do you think?
Alrighty, so the most to gain, I got two guys for this. I think Matt and Klink. Both these guys, they're always in the playoffs. They're great players. But to gain, they all want that Simbardi, which, not to jump with probably your next question or whatever. But, man, I think these two have a lot to prove still, and they want that Simbardi just to put on their back and walk around and be all macho for the rest of the season, be awesome, or cycle. So those two have the most to gain. The most to lose is Prime. He's got. I'm gonna feel terrible. The dude went 17-0. He's been bragging about everything, and then all of a sudden he's gonna lose and just walk away with his tail between his legs and be hurt the rest of the cycle. So those are my two to gain. Well, two to gain and one to lose.
Okay, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, Bomber. The person with the most to gain is also the person with the most to lose. It's the same person. It's Meats. Meats can win the Super Bowl, and he would gain the ability to say, "I won a Super Bowl" for the rest of his SML life. And in chat, when anyone calls him the folding chair or makes fun of him, he can kind of show his ring and, hey, I've got a ring. What do you have? And that'll get the big time monkey off his back, because he is the butt of all jokes when it comes to the playoffs. Even if he's not in them, it's like people are saying, "Oh, is that person going to pull a Meats?" And Meats might not even be in the playoffs. And then he's the most to lose, because if he fails, well, he's just going to be made fun of more. But I think Meats has more to lose than he has to gain, just because he has the Packers. He has the best quarterback in the league. And I think the tricky part for him is he's not going to have that quarterback for long. So, this might be his last chance. But if he doesn't win, or doesn't make a Super Bowl at least, but maybe he win it this year, maybe next year he gets one more chance. And then he's going to go back to being maybe the 6 or 7 seed and just fizzle out. And this is going to be his best shot, because I think, and I'll do some fact checking after the show, but I think the way it's set up is he only has to beat one of Dan or QP, assuming Klink beats Gutta tomorrow. And if that's the case, that's his best shot, not having to beat the both of them.
Yeah. And I appreciate you not worrying about bringing facts on here and getting them later. So that's great. Colt, what do you think?
I think it's also the same person, but that person is Prime. He's got the most to gain, because we all know he likes tooting his own horn. He's been doing it all season. And if he goes completely undefeated, wins the Super Bowl, and goes into season 2 of the cycle without a loss, we'll never hear the end of it, and he'll love it. But if he loses, then it's going to go the other way around. Doesn't matter what he did with the regular season. We're not going to let him hear the end of it.
All right,
he's really put himself in a situation where it's Super Bowl or bust for him.
All right, I kind of agree there.
I apologize for that. I think I took that as two separate questions. That's my fault.
No, you're good. You're good. In fact, I'll even give you a bonus point. Look at that. You did 2 questions. All right, so we'll start with you, DW, on this one. And you kind of almost hit on this one with your last answer. Talk about the Big Five. Matt says that nobody else has been to a Super Bowl other than Dump last cycle outside of the Big Five. What do you think it takes for someone else to join the Big Five?
That's the easiest question in the world. What it takes is winning a Simbardi. You win a Simbardi, you're automatically entered into the possibility of being considered for the top 5. You win multiple Simbardis, you're moved into the top 5 automatically, at least in my mind, for at least a cycle or whatever. I mean, Bomber, you won year 1 last year, pre-blip and all that, and then it carried you, and then they tried to push you out and came back in, you know what I mean? But it's all about Simbardis. That's all that it takes. And multiple Simbardis will definitely guarantee you a spot in that Big Five.
Okay. Matt, what do you think? You're the one that kind of coined the whole Big Five anyway. What does it take for you?
Yeah, first I want to make sure that I do get the facts right. Bomber, thanks for calling me out. It is impossible for Meats to have to play QP and Dan in the playoffs, so he only has to beat one of them. Next, so my next thing is in order to be in the Big Five, you got to win a Simbardi. That's the very first thing. You can't make the Super Bowl and lose. You got to win it. And then the second thing is you got to continue to be successful. You can't just win one and then fizzle out. Dump made the Super Bowl, and then we never heard from him again, I don't think, post-Blip. Yep. Even if he won that Super Bowl, the fact that we would never hear from him again, he's not in the Big Five. Dom was as close as we've ever seen. He was consistently AFC Championship game or in the divisional round giving QP and prime they could handle. But he could never quite get over that hump. And had he won a Simbardi and continued that consistency of progressing to the championship game in the conference championship, you're starting to talk about a big six. But you got to win the Simbardi, and then you've got to follow that up and prove it wasn't a fluke. Bomber, Faz struggled out the gate with the CPU games and the games against Prime. He's only lost 2 games this season. That he was actually on the controller for, and it was against the guy who didn't lose a single game. Look at Dan and QP. They're the 2 studs of the NFC, 14-3, playing for the number 1 seed. It's like what's going to happen before it happens, and that's why they're the Big Five.
Okay. Colt, what do you think?
I think like they said, you've got to win a Super Bowl, but then the next part of the criteria, you need to be near the Super Bowl more seasons than not after that. Conference championship, close loss in divisionals, and really, if you start talking Big Six, you're now getting close to 20% of the league being part of that selective group. So I would say you really should be fighting off helping knock someone out of that Big Five for you to be considered to be in anyway.
Okay. And I'll give you 4 bonus points for using math there. All right, QP, what do you think? As a member of the Big Five, what do you think it takes for somebody to break into that group?
It's a little bit of what they all touched on. I think it's consistency, number one, not just making the playoffs. A lot of people can do that. A lot of people make the playoffs every year. Like Matt was talking about Dom would beat me or beat Prime almost every time, and then he would lose to one of us every time. And so he couldn't quite get over the hump. As far as the Simbardis go, I think it's more than one Simbardi. You have to win more than one. Even though some of the people in the Big Five have only one, they've established themselves throughout literally season by season as the top guys that you basically will see every time. I think Matt hit it last year. We saw the Big Five in the Simbardi or the Super Bowl every single time. There was not one other person, I don't think. And actually, no, I might be wrong, but there was somebody representing the Super Bowl at least every single time.
I believe Dump was the only one.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's more than just one Simbardi, and I think it's more than just making the divisionals and then getting beat. You have to consistently beat the Big Five member, as well as, winning at least 2 or making 3 and winning 1, something like that.
Okay. I think that's it for that topic then. So we will go on. Matt, you're going to start this last topic. And what current non-playoff team will end the cycle with the most playoff appearances at the end? And by non-playoff team, I don't mean the ones that just got beat 35-7 in the wild card round.
Bomber, I love this question. It's very creative. It's a good topic of discussion. I was going to take the low-hanging fruit, Mr. Tank himself, Paulie, because if he starts wanting to win, he's going to win. And if you don't think he's tanking, watch the DW game from the third quarter on, and then look me in the face and tell me he's not tanking. But I don't want to go the easy route and say Paulie, because if Rodgers doesn't retire this season, he might do it again. But I'm going to go with Doink. That's, in my opinion, the weakest division other than maybe the AFC North, the NFC East, excuse me. And if he gets a quarterback, I think that's all it takes. He almost won it this season. He was only 2 games out, and Woods went 10-7. And, then there's Grams, who I don't know if last time he played a game, and then Tiny, who's tiny. So I think it's going to be Doink. He's a good player. He's proven in the Death Division last cycle, that NFC South, that he can compete with the best of them. He made the playoffs despite being in that division. He battled Faz. I'm sure he won some of those games. And if he can get a quarterback, he knows how to play this game. He enjoys playing this game. He's in multiple leagues. He's going to make a few. I'm going to say 3 or 4. If we don't get blipped, he's going to make 3 or 4.
Okay. Colt, what do you think? Who's your non-playoff team that's going to make the most appearances?
I'm with him on that. It's definitely Doink. I just feel that he almost won the division this season against Woods, who has a way more superior team right now. I believe Doink is the best player in that division. It was just trying to beat that Eagles Mutt team that slowed him down a little bit. And as time goes by, more than likely, even as soon as next season, I think Doink will be the one to take control. He might win every season in that division from here on out.
That would be really nice because I have Woods draft pick in the next season. So if he doesn't make the playoffs, I would be very happy. QP, who do you think?
Well, now I didn't think that everybody was going to go with Doink. I thought that he was kind of under the radar. I don't know why. So I'm going to have to go and a different route. I'm going to go with DW. I'm going to go. We just had a little breakdown on him. He's the Buffalo Bills. He has Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the game. He has Stephon Diggs, a phenomenal receiver, really good defense. He runs with James Cook really well, and he can maybe draft a running back. I don't know what he's going to do, but I think James Cook is the guy to roll with for a while, or at least the time being. But I'm going to go with him. He has Bomber in the division, which is tough. Having Bomber in the division is always going to be tough. And that might mean that he's not going to win a division title. He might not. But getting in as a 7th, getting in as a 6th, that's a very well possibility, as well as getting in as the 5th seed. If he just puts it together, limits his turnovers, does what he does best, and plays good defense like he can do. He knows how to do it. So I'm gonna go DW.
Yeah, and I'd say he only missed the playoffs by 2 games, and he played like absolute shit. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody play that bad.
Yeah, he had an off year, and he still he put together some wins, and he had an off year.
Yeah, so not far off at all. DW, what do you think?
Well, to jump on that, yes, I played probably the worst season of Madden I've ever played.
No, I meant the worst of anybody I've ever seen in my life. Not
Bomber. Alrighty. Well, do I get to answer my question? I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not me. Honestly, I think the AFC's set. I don't think anybody up there is going to make the playoffs again. I'm joking. We have lots of quality players in the AFC, but I'm actually rolling with. Number one, I have to give a shout out to Paulie for tanking this whole entire year, because he will be in the playoffs every single season from here on out. But that's low hanging fruit. I'd like to give Doink a shout out. I think that he will definitely turn around and probably have quite a few playoff appearances here towards the end of the cycle. Still hate that freaking trade with the defensive tackle that he made early on. He should have kept that front four together personally. But also, did Dump make the playoffs?
Dump did not make the playoffs. He was also
I'm gonna go with my boy Dump.
At least the game I'm
gonna give a vote to my boy Dump. Shout out to him also for matching me on the DW giveaway this year. A little bit of personal, because I'm not going to win this thing anyways. But yeah, I think Dump will turn that team around. Lots of young talent there. London, Pitts, the whole thing. All he needs is quarterback. And I think he's going with Ritter, isn't he?
Yeah, he is going with Ritter.
Yeah, if he can get Ritter devved up, he'll be back in competition there hopefully. So that's my. I'll go with Dump there. Okay. Dump is my number one there.
So brings us. Oh, go ahead.
Wait. So with Paulie is a guaranteed lock, and Dump getting in, who's getting out of the NFC? Who's currently in?
That's a good question. That's
Is that to me personally?
That's to everybody.
Won't get 2 free wins against Paulie.
I can't.
Hey, DW, you're saying Gutta's out, DW?
I didn't say that. Matt said that.
You said it.
Right.
I did not say that. I said I cannot vote for my boy Gutta.
So who is out then? Who are you voting for to be out?
Let's see here. QP. He's ain't gonna make it. I'm joking. Let's see. I guess I don't know. I don't want to answer that question.
Oh. Okay. Colt, what do you think? Since DW doesn't want to answer a question on a question and answer show.
And this is who's going to be out?
Yeah, who's going to be out?
Definitely, with me saying Doink is going to be in, I would say Woods is going to be out, and you'll get that better draft pick.
That's good. I like the logic there. So
he just saying that to get some extra points, man. Come on.
It works. He needed a lot more than that. So that's going to be the end of our topics, but I just thought of one while we were answering that one. So I'm going to throw a little wild card one out here, and we'll start with you, Colt. with Paulie possibly tanking, which I don't know if there's a possibly about it, but do you think the tanking is going to hurt him because you're not playing to win? Everybody else is learning the game, and you're over here throwing the ball to the popcorn vendor. What do you think, Colt?
I think it's definitely going to set him back. These drafts are always wild, so maybe he'll get lucky. Maybe he'll draft some normal dev guys to go along with his low morale normal dev guys and be set back another couple seasons and hopefully regret it.
Yeah, I could see that. What do you think, QP?
I think that, yes, absolutely. I think that Paulie, when you keep losing consistently, you forget how to win. That's in real life too. If you just keep losing, you forget how to win. When it's a 2-minute, drill and you got to get up the field to score, you probably forget how to win because you haven't been used to that. When you're missing kicks consistently, whether it's on purpose or not, when the time comes and you actually get iced again and you're not used to hitting those kicks, you're going to miss it. You're going to lose. Like, it's just, if you create a pattern and a habit of losing or doing something, it's hard to break that habit. And especially when your division is getting better, whether Gutta's guys are getting older or not, the Vikings roster, he's still a formidable user. Meats is a formidable user. Biz's roster eventually might get better, or is going to get better. So I think that when you just don't win like you're accustomed to winning and you consistently lose, it's going to hurt you, and you do forget to do some things that used to benefit you.
Yeah, absolutely. DW, what are your thoughts on this?
Personally feel like he's just going to be fine. He spammed the hell out of his wide receiver too while I was going this year, so he's probably going to get some dev upgrade for having 77 catches. I'm joking. Sorry, Polly. Not really. But anyways, no, I think he's going to be just fine. He's playing to lose. He wants a quarterback.
Yeah.
This isn't anything new.
Luckily for him, he got the first pick, I think, with KJ's pick, because I don't think there's but one quarterback in the draft. Matt, what do you think? The tanking going to hurt him?
I don't think so. Paulie's always known Madden. I was in his division when I first got in the SML, and then he played pretty much the exact same way in 22. Obviously, you've got to adapt a little bit this year, but Paulie plays the game no matter what he thinks or no matter what he says. So he's going to know he's going to know the game. He's going to know. I think he already does. I think he knows the game well enough to do things wrong, so that he can lose. I think where it is going to hurt him, though, Bomber, is if he is tanking. I've said multiple times, we will know if he is tanking in the next couple of seasons. If he goes from 3 wins to 10, we obviously know. And I think that might get in his head a little bit. If he starts to win and he's like, oh my God, I'm 7-2 or 8-1, and okay, the gig is up. That might get in his head a little bit. Maybe he peels it back a little bit and maybe starts semi-tanking again to kind of make it look like he wasn't in the first place, because he's trying to hide it this time. So I don't think it's going to hurt him on the field. Might hurt him in his head, though.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, so with that, the final score, we've got Matt with 148, QP with 142, Colt with 90, DW with 121. But DW, you do a $50 giveaway, so I'm going to add $50 to your points, and that's going to give you 171 points, and that's going to make you the winner. And I just really want to see a 30-second DW down.
Oh, this is going to be great. So I got a big announcement here. Bomber doesn't even know about this yet, but this is coming up. We're doing SML Trivia again. It'll be here this offseason. Hit me up. Hit Bomber up. We need the first 3 contestants. We're going to be doing it after the Super Bowl. And also shout out the Dump for matching me on all the prizes, man. That's going to be awesome. I mean, we're going to be giving away at least $100 every season this year at the end. And it's huge. It's awesome. So that's it. So,
all right. Pretty
Bomber,
disappointing DW down again, but...
What about DW? Since I said you're making the AFC playoffs, who's out?
There you go. Who's out?
Who's out of the AFC?
Yeah.
Oh,
who's
man.
out?
Let me think here. It's not gonna be Bomber. It's not gonna be. Man, I hate this. Oh shit. Sorry. Excuse me. Oh man, I don't want to do.
And we'll just sit here and make this super awkward too.
Thanks. It's already hot in here. I'm gonna go with RD.
I'm sorry. I put him on the spot. I shouldn't.
Nope,
have done
I'm
that.
going with RD. I picked
Okay,
RD.
you're going RD. Wow.
Sorry, RD.
All
I
right.
love you, dude. You're-
RD. So DW
Sorry.
says that RD is dog shit, and he's gonna be the one to lose to DW.
No.
All right.
No, he just had the worst.
No,
team.
don't worry. I
That's it.
edited that out, so he didn't hear you say it.
God
All right.
damn it.
Thanks for being on, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next week, this is First and Goal.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.